Hello, you guys. I completely forgot to do this. Welcome to the Ranting Shop with me, Melissa. I'm going to be doing a very quick review, a rapid review of Love and Marriage DC. I'm just gonna briefly go through all the couples and just a quick comment about each. So, firstly, I want to talk about the Silvers. So the Silvers consist of Ashley Silver and her husband, DJ Silver. And from what I've gathered thus far, it appears as if Ashley they're making Ashley appear very shady because she went to the launch for Monique's brand or whatever she was doing, and she was telling the other woman that she was bored and that when she is bored she drinks, and it appears that she was doing it while the woman Winter was giving her life story, and everybody thought that Ashley was being really messy. So this is what Ashley had to say to clear things up. She said, "This scene really made me seem shady to Winter, and that's not what it was. She talked for 45 minutes about other stuff, not just her previous marriage. We'd also been there filming for hours. No one was making fun or mean girling her marriage. Y'all seen a 2-minute edited clip of an entertainment show." Okay? And that's what she had to say. So essentially she's saying she wasn't making fun of Winter and her cheating situation and her other things that she went through. She was just very bored because they'd been here for a while. Now, what I will say about that is typically when the editors edit you in a specific way, like for example, if they make you a shady person, it's probably because they've already filmed everything, and what they've gathered from the raw filming of the show is that maybe sometimes you might be shady. Maybe you were shady twice. And so now they're forming you into a shady character. And for example, if you're a person that's very emotional, but let's say you cried 2 times or 3 times, then they're gonna make your character an emotional person. So they'll every time something happens, you're gonna look to your facial expressions for maybe a tear or two. So I noticed that production uses what you give them and then they form a character around that. So I'm gonna still be looking at Ashley a little bit with a bit of side eye because that may just be foreshadowing of more shady things. But I do understand her explanation. Then we have Winter. Now, before we go into Winter, Silver's husband, DJ Silver, is like working himself to the bone. And I understand that he wants to create or maintain a certain lifestyle for his wife and his children. But at some point, you have to decide what takes precedence. Is it my career or is it spending time with my family? And at some point, a decision has to be made. And right now, Ashley is looking for him to support her the same way she supported him all these years. And we will see if he comes to that standing, when it comes to her. I don't think he'd be able to do it because he's still going full throttle. But at this point, she wants him to now slow down and she wants to go full throttle. So let's see how that goes. Then we have the older couple, and I didn't even get their names. But yes, the older woman, and so that woman was the woman that Ashley was kind of whispering that she was bored to. She seems like she can handle and take a joke or two, which is like my type of people, because I love people that can take jokes, because some people are so sensitive. And her husband, she looks like she's gonna be having issues with her husband as far as communication is concerned. Her husband seems to be the old school type of guy where you don't quite question them, is just their way or the highway, and there's just gonna be a little bit of a struggle there communication wise. And then they have an issue because one of their sons, I think he is blind, and one of them is into drugs and doing all types of illegal stuff, and they're worried about him. But my thing about it is, if your family is as successful as it is, what is turning you to that dark side? That is what I'm not understanding. What is pushing you to the streets? Because like everybody's logical explanation is like, if you grew up in like a two-parent household, your parents have been married and together for a long time, they're successful financially, like I'm confused as to what need is there for you to go into drugs and all that dark type of stuff if your family seems pretty stable, unless it just is seemingly picture perfect. It's like it looks good on the surface, but maybe there's some underlying issues that I think the show is gonna go into the more we watch the season. And then we have Winter, of course, and we saw Winter give her whole life story, from her marriage to infidelity to all types of things. And she was explaining that she didn't necessarily take Ashley's laughing and stuff as shade, because she was there and I guess she was given an account. She says, I love how they cut out the foundation of my story to sell the shade. The topic was finding balance in midst of chaos. I've had to navigate being a mom, student, and entrepreneur while walking through a painful season in my life. I share openly and I've shared for years. This happened to me over 15 years ago, became a success story. I won. Okay, so I'm happy for Winter. A lot of women, I don't know what attracts them to athletes, but they keep getting attracted to athletes, whether it be basketball or baseball or football or whatever the case may be. The record has shown that the statistics have shown that athletes are not faithful partners. Maybe except for Russell Wilson. Besides Russell Wilson and maybe that quarterback that's married to Giselle Bundchen, I forgot his name. Maybe these guys are faithful, but for the most part, I've never really heard of young, rich players being faithful, simply because they feel like there's no need for them to be faithful when they're getting like requests from different women that just want to sleep with them. They could get sex easily, so they probably feel like, what's the point in just being faithful? It doesn't serve me to be faithful if I'm getting all these options. So I don't know what makes women feel like their partner is the exception to the rule, but they seldom are. And they go through this heartache of being cheated on and all these things, knowing that athletes tend to do that. Granted, let's say you were with this person prior to them becoming a professional athlete, and then the cheating came later. That's a different thing. But let's say you decide to be with an athlete knowing their track record. You didn't start off with them before, you just got with them after the fact. I don't think you can really accept or act or expect faithfulness from these types of men. So she talked about all types of things. She shaved one side of her head. I know I'm not a fan of the look. I particularly, that used to be something that was really popular. I remember when Cassie did that, she shaved one side of her head. And typically when women do that, it's kind of like a cry for help or a way to channel whatever issues that you're going through. They normally like put it out on their hair, whether it be a haircut, a hair color, a different style. They it shows in the hair. So we're gonna see what happens with Winter. She has a very interesting storyline because her husband is like 60 something, her estranged husband, 60 something years old. He's allegedly attached to some fraud problems. He decided to leave Winter and go back to his parents' house at 60 something years old. I have no idea how that happened. I have no idea what caused it to happen. The situation is so bizarre. And later on in the previews, we see that the husband is gonna come in and she's not gonna want to be there when the husband comes. I don't know. Then we have the star, which is Monique Samuels and her husband. And remember, we know them from Real Housewives of Potomac, and we know that she ended up slapping or fighting with another cast member. I forgot her name, and that ended up getting her cut from the show. And so now she refers to that show as that other show, as she's now on Love and Marriage DC. It's very clear that that is the center couple, just like how Martell and Melody are the center couple of Love and Marriage Huntsville. And so what we're seeing with Monique and her husband is that it seems as if her husband is a good man, faithful, loves and takes care of the kids, still very attracted to his wife, provides financially. He's seemingly doing everything every woman wants. But it appears that I think Monique wants more. I feel like she feels like after 10 years, things are not moving, things are not really progressing. Maybe certain things are less, like attraction. Maybe the communication styles have changed over the years, or maybe certain things are just being misconstrued for whatever reason. But there's definitely a communication issue there, and that is like causing a lot of conflict between the two. It appears that the way her husband communicates and how she wants him to communicate are very different. So I hope they can work out their communication issues, because other than that, it looks like a very good marriage. It looks as if, because Monique keeps talking about how he's gonna struggle and she doesn't know if they're gonna make it to another 10 years. Well, if you're coming at it pessimistically, I mean, inevitably it will end. But if you come at it with a mindset of, we will get through this is just a temporary hump, we're gonna get over this, then you have another 10 years in the bag. It's all about perspective. It's all about perspective and what you want for the future. So that's a quick synopsis of the cast. It's gonna really be interesting seeing how the man and his son really bond or not bond, or whatever the case may be. DJ Silver, we're gonna see how he balances his work life versus like allowing his wife to pursue her own dreams, how that works out. We have Monique and her husband with the communication issues, and we have Winter navigating her weird and estranged situation with her husband and the fraud and everything else. So let me know what you guys think of the episode thus far. Like, subscribe, and see you guys next time. Bye.